Happy New Year, everybody. Welcome back to Jacksonville's Retirement Coach, the podcast hosted by Adam Wolf, President, CPA, CFP, and founder, of course, you see the name, Wolf Retirement Navigation. He serves the Jacksonville, Florida area, and I know, Adam, you'd love for people to go ahead and get that free portfolio analysis today at wolfretirement.com. How you doing today? We're on a Monday, right? It can't be so bad.
You're doing outstanding, Doug. How about yourself?
I'm doing well. We got to keep that positivity. It's the second working Monday, the second Monday overall of 2025. And, you were up in Atlanta recently. On our next episode, we'll talk some about that. I want to ask you today just to kind of recap the holidays a little bit. I feel like it blew by, whether people stayed in town or not. That holiday season, it gets quicker and quicker each year.
Yeah, we had a lot of stuff going on at the end of last year with family and friends, and took the girls up to New York City to do the whole tourist thing right before Christmas. So that was amazing. I never done it myself.
I remember you talking about their gift budget. Did that?
Yeah, we had to reduce it to keep everybody's everything in line with the budgets overall. So. But for 11-year-old and 8-year-old and having them experience Christmas and in a new big city like that, and seeing snow, we really lucked out with stuff. So Empire State Building, seeing the Lion King, and doing ice skating in the park and stuff like that. So it was really a neat experience to see the smiles on their faces. Even with all those lines up there, just the smiles on their faces. Throughout the Christmas holiday, it was wonderful.
Oh, that sounds great. Well, my wife, Momo, and I, we took a trip to Germany, which, as far away as that is and as much hustle and bustle you do have to travel, but the trip itself felt like a staycation. We were just lounging around the house the whole time. So it felt like being at home in your PJs, just in Deutschland instead. It was great. So,
outstanding.
Glad we both had some fruitful trips and good time with family. And we're going to launch into having enough money to retire. That's the big topic du jour today. But before we do that, I need to mention our past episodes, which you can find under the media tab on wolfretirement.com, or you can find on Apple, Spotify, anywhere that carries podcasts. We talked about Roths and RMDs to wrap up 2024. And of course, you don't want to wait till the very end of the year to figure out, should I max out my Roth contribution or do a Roth conversion or take my required minimum distribution on December 29th or something like that. No, you want to get those things done with you ahead of time. So again, get with wolfretirement.com to maximize the benefits of those things. Take the pressure off too. Now, talking about having enough money to retire, people sometimes think they might have to have a side job to retire, or they might have a hobby that actually turns profitable for them. Nikki Glazer recently hosted the Golden Globes, and her very last joke in the monologue maybe has something to do with this vein.
Well, before we start handing out awards, I do want to remind you, if you do lose tonight, please just keep in mind that the point of making art is not to win an award. The point of making art is to start a tequila brand so popular that you never have to make art again.
Okay, I may have been stretching that. All right, I just wanted to get a good joke for Nikki Glazer in there. Most of the jokes she told during that, they were on network TV. They were appropriate. They probably had nothing to do with that. But yeah, there's a lot of people that probably think, Adam, that they have to keep, and I'm just going to use making art as a moniker. They have to keep squeezing the turnip, but they got to work 5 more years to get into retirement because they just don't have enough money. And a lot of times, as I've talked to you and people like you, Adam, in this industry, there's sometimes a lot more good news than bad when it comes to actually having enough or not.
Yes. I mean, the question, do I have enough to retire, is a question that people ask daily a lot of times, especially, you might be, a couple of years away from retirement, 5 years out from retirement. Do I have enough to retire? And a lot of times, you crunch the numbers, you look at your budget, which we'll go through here in a second, but you might not have known you had enough until you actually crunch those numbers. You may think you're pretty close based on your current budget of affecting, the current year or the 1 or 2 years once you fully retire, but will you have enough down the road? That's the big question that we solve for our clients on a daily basis.
Yeah, it's a huge question that's top of mind. And some people think you need this extraordinary amount. Some people think they're made in the shade. So how do you lead people through pulling that apart, finding that retirement budget, and actually answering that question? Because it's different for each person.
Yeah, I mean, retirements are now lasting anywhere from 20 to 40 years. Many, many decades ago, the companies that you worked for took care of you. You had your pension, you had some Social Security, and it was really up to the companies to provide that pension. Nowadays, you have a lot of us do have Social Security. If you were the spouse of someone still working, you are eligible for Social Security as well. And you may still have a pension. They are still out there. They're few and far between now from when I'm working with people and seeing those. So you take those income streams that you do have, and maybe it might be I want to do some part-time work not because I have to, because I want to. I enjoy my time and my social time of doing whatever I want to do out there. So I do have clients like that as well. But it really starts with identifying what you have, whether it's assets, whether it's income. We'll talk about the assets here in a minute. But in looking at your overall budget, what does it take for you to run your house, to pay for all the necessities, and then also to pay for and to enjoy, to experience, to travel, if that's, your cup of tea, to just enjoy and not have to worry about working. So it really comes down to a budget and the dollar amounts that go from that. Subtract out your Social Security, subtract out your pension if you have it, and then the assets, your retirement savings, needs to make up the difference. And how much you pull out of your retirement plan will dictate, your livelihood and your living.
What are some of the questions that you ask people to figure out, or maybe that people don't think of, right? Some of the costs that people don't think of, because there's I know my mortgage costs this, or the mortgage on the vacation home costs this, but is there a particular category that people just don't even consider when they think if they have enough to retire?
Yeah, many people just intuitively want to pay off or pay down the debt as much as possible to free up the burden of having to pay, monthly on something. And it's one of the most powerful experiences is not having debt. And it frees you up to make other great decisions with your money. So that's number one. Another thing is of your assets that you have, many of us have been saving for a long time. And based on the savings efficiencies in the past, it's usually through 401k plans or IRAs. And those are and can be loaded with taxes. You have not been taxed on that money yet. So of the amount of money you need to pull out of your savings every year, coming up with a plan, an income plan by year of how much to pull out needs to take into account the after-tax effect. How much are you going to keep in your pocket? Sometimes these IRAs, these 401ks can have 22, 24, 30 plus percent, almost 40% in some cases, loaded in taxation that has not been taxed yet. So how to get that money to meet your needs, the necessities, and also the fun stuff, that's the ball game, and that's what we help our clients with. And it really boils down to an income plan and a game plan for retirement.
And then I know one thing I hear tossed around a lot is something like an annuity that has a payout over a longer period of time is one way to establish that income plan, right?
Yeah, there's multiple different tools that we use. We use the stock market, we use the bond market, we use annuities, we use all kinds of different things that are appropriate for clients that are based on a overall game plan, a game plan for risk, a game plan for principal protection. And, we have to stage this for retirement. So if you aren't retired yet, you may have too much risk in your 401k plan. You may have too much risk, especially with the last couple of years, everything has run up in the stock markets. Your allocations might not be in line and consistent with what they should be when you're no longer working, when you are retired, and now you have to preserve and protect more than you needed to before because that paycheck goes away. So we have to juggle those and manage that to be the right size risk for you and your family.
The right size risk, and everybody has a different stomach or ability to handle that. What are some other things that people need to consider if they want to know if they have enough money to retire?
Yeah, it's like I said, it's the budget first and foremost. Can I live within my means? with my income coming in, do I have enough? Am I maximizing my savings? That's really when we're still working. If you're able to maximize your savings and live off a portion of what you have coming in, that is a really good stepping stone to then have enough, compound over time to then be able to live off those assets. And everybody has a different answer. And it drives me crazy sometimes when I read, you have to have $1 million to retire. You have to have X to retire. Everybody's different. I mean, I have clients who have sizable assets, but they live within their means. The hardest part is getting them to spend that money. And that's that's counterintuitive, Doug. I've had clients where to buy their own piece of cheesecake each instead of splitting it was huge because they didn't want to spend that extra money for the extra piece of cheesecake at Carrabba's. We have people who are in this savor scarcity mentality to take baby steps to then become comfortable with spending their money. That doesn't mean frivolous, but we haven't worked our whole entire life to not enjoy the fruits of our labor.
We didn't work our whole life to not enjoy at some point the fruits of our labor. Think about a financial advisor. You think they'd tell you spend less, like hold on to that money, stuff it into this account. And this is sort of like the dentist telling you you can have a piece of candy every once in a while. Like this is a little bit of a different approach from Jacksonville's retirement coach. But I've heard other people, in your industry say it too, and I think it's worth remembering.
Yeah, that's. I wouldn't put it that way with having a little piece of candy. As a dentist, I've never heard them say that. That's what I mean.
Is like it's sort of counterintuitive. You think the financial person's letting you spend your money now? Oh no.
Yeah, so. There's so many conflicts out there. I mean, there's things that aren't intuitive. There's things that are counterintuitive. And usually, if a client, they sort of know what they want, and hey, how is this stuff going to affect my life and my livelihood and allow me to do what I want to do? Can I do it? And that's what we answer for people every single day. Can I do it? Am I able to do it? If I can, that's great. If I can't, what do I need to do to tweak it? And that's what we help people with.
So if someone's hearing this and they really don't know the answer to this question, they don't know how to approach finding the answers there, what can they do to interact with you and start setting things in motion?
Yeah, you get in touch with us. Get on my calendar, spend some time with me, and we'll crunch the numbers. We'll analyze it, come up with a good game plan to make that decision to say, do you have enough and can you retire? And it's not just retiring; it's people just want to know: do I have to work? If I'm forced to work, it's really financial freedom, having enough income and assets outside of your working to do what you want to do. And, everybody's definition of that's different.
Oh, that's exactly right. So you need to ask the person that's seen this for over a quarter century, all right? Adam Wolf, Wolf Retirement Navigation. You could call him and the team up, 904-944-5828, or go to wolfretirement.com. and set up that free portfolio analysis there. You even have a complimentary Retire Smart plan, right, that helps get these things in order.
That's right. We crunch the numbers. We do the analysis. We take people through the major risks, the risks of running out of money, the risks of too much market exposure, tax risk, health and long-term care risk, and also estate planning risks, where you want your stuff to go when you are no longer here. So we look at all of those angles and answer questions on those.
Well, we are glad that you do that, and thank you for spending the time just beginning to scratch the surface on this subject today, Adam. I know a lot of people need to hear it.
Well, thank you so much, Doug. As always, it is a pleasure.
Hey, the pleasure is mine, and we're thankful to everybody here for listening and to our producer, Daniel Salerson, for editing and publishing this. Again, go to wolfretirement.com. That's really the first step there, wolfretirement.com in Jacksonville, and Wolf Retirement Navigation. And Adam and the team there can help you get involved. Again, that free portfolio analysis is a great way to start. Remember, we're on Apple, Spotify, YouTube even. There's a Facebook page. There's all sorts of ways to interact with Adam and the team. But Apple, Spotify, and the other podcatchers is where you can get the episodes of Jacksonville's Retirement Coach, which come out roughly or so every 2 weeks. And we'll have another episode coming your way in just about that amount of time. He's Adam Wolf. I'm Doug Turnbull, and thank you so much for listening to Jacksonville's Retirement Coach.
Investment advisory services offered through Coil Capital LLC, a registered investment advisor. Wolf Retirement Navigation LLC and Coil Capital LLC are not affiliated. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal. No investment strategy can guarantee a profit or protect against loss in periods of declining values. Opinions expressed are subject to change without notice and are not intended as investment advice or to predict future performance. Past performance does not guarantee future results. Consult your financial professional before making any investment decision. This information is designed to provide general information on the subjects covered. It is not, however, intended to provide specific legal or tax advice and cannot be used to avoid tax penalties or to promote, market, or recommend any tax plan or arrangement. Please note that Wolf Retirement Navigation LLC and its affiliates do not give legal or tax advice. You are encouraged to consult your tax advisor or attorney. Annuity guarantees rely on the financial strength and claims paying ability of the issuing insurer. Any references to protection or benefits or lifetime income generally refer to fixed insurance products. They do not refer in any way to securities or investment advisory products or services. Fixed insurance and annuity product guarantees are subject to the claims paying ability of the issuing company and not offered by Coil Capital LLC. Florida Insurance License Number W016816.